Hello class, I'm Professor Sanford. The topic I chose for my oral presentation was effective listening in the helping professions. I chose this topic because it seemed to be an important skill to have in the helping profession. I'm hoping to gain more knowledge in how to be an effective listener and how to find out where I need to improve as a listener. I find as I interact with people daily, we seem to be interrupting, being defensive, being combative. Further, I'm hoping this topic will help me to understand better how to listen and in turn give appropriate feedback for the situation. Whether at work or at home, I feel it's an important skill to have to avoid misunderstandings. Having a better understanding where someone is coming from and to see others' point of view is also helpful. I feel this may lead to a better understanding of comprehension of what someone is sharing or trying to convey. Sometimes I think we miss that. Listening better can lead to offering non-judgmental, empathetic solutions to people or situations where one is trying to resolve conflict or just even a task at hand. In everyday communications, just out there, when you're interacting with people, it seems that listening would be a great skill to have. Implications of not having this important skill could be lack of understanding others, which I said in the beginning when people are getting defensive, maybe our listening is not appropriate, so we're understanding and conveying what we're trying to say to the person, which in turn is making them feel defensive. It could lead to arguments, which probably many of us have seen, if one is coming from a place of defensiveness. It could hinder making appropriate suggestions or offering appropriate solutions in the workplace, home, or in daily communications with other humans. As we see from our Johari reading, this is a perfect example of implications of not being an effective listener. And then I'm just going to state a couple examples that they gave us. A participation style is to tell the group what someone thinks of them or what is going on in the group and where they stand on the situation in group issues. Someone may lash out at a group member or criticize the group, believing that they are right and insensitive to the feedback that someone is giving them. And then that in turn makes people feel like we're not listening, right? And then in turn, members of the group or people that you work with or even in your daily relations maybe are just reluctant to give you feedback from here on out. That could be an implication. And then before you know it, it's just spiraled out of control and someone is saying they're leaving or they're quitting a job or they're not going to participate in a group anymore. And how sad, because we could probably learn something from all of these other situations if we would just apply better listening skills. In my reading, I also found that this was interesting, 5 stages of listening, which I didn't know. These are hearing, understanding, remembering, evaluating, and responding. I think what I found for me in everyday situations is we are hearing and not listening, and then we react to the way we're comprehending what the other person is trying to convey to us. So I can say I do that all the time. I'm hoping that now that I recognize these things, that there are 5, in fact, stages of listening, I'm going to try to be coherent for each one and pay attention. I also found in my reading, we have some examples here that are active listening, and those are appreciative listening. We have biased listening, of course, we probably use that a lot. And deep listening, critical listening, just to name a few. I feel like we live probably in the critical listening stage or just hearing, most of us. I tend to do it at home, probably with my husband, and at work. Sometimes when we're just not feeling right and not paying attention, we're probably just hearing and not listening. Which, if we are trying to be in the helping profession and actually offer advice to someone that is non-judgmental and empathetic, then we do need to be listening and paying attention to what they're saying. Some suggestions I learned from my reading to improve our listening ability is to be effective listeners, to know the difference between hearing and listening, is what I just stated. Hearing is considered a passive behavior, and listening is an active psychological process in which all those above 5 stages that we're actually following and reflecting on. Timing obviously is something we can't always have, but again, try to limit distractions and be focused. Try to be focused in the present, like we've learned in this whole semester. And no better time than the present, as we've also learned. I myself am a procrastinator. I put things off until the last second. I'm not sure why, but I'm also going to try to focus on that also in my being able to listen better. I hope everybody's having a great semester, and this was a great little presentation. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.